Good day, everyone. Welcome back to V-Class TV. This is Teacher Jackie. This week, we will focus on sound devices and figures of speech. For that, we have the following learning objectives to tackle this week. Welcome to Day 1. Get ready to experience the second week of our English class. Let's begin with a simple game. For each picture that will be shown, instead of naming it, give the sound of it. For example, I show you this picture of a cow, but instead of saying it's a cow, you're going to say moo moo. Now I am going to click the time, so when the time starts to run, it means that you are going to say the sound of the picture being flashed on the screen. Are you ready? Let's have this picture. Don't tell me the name, just make the sound. Yes, the answer is shh, shh. What's that sound? The answer is tick-tock, tick-tock. What's that sound? The answer is me, me. What's that sound? The answer is lub-dub, lub-dub. What's that sound? The answer is ding dong, ding dong. Now think about it. What would the world look or feel like if there are no sounds? Why do you think sounds are important? What other sounds coming from nature and machines do you know? Remember this homework? You can exchange works with your seatmates now. The story assigned to you was entitled The Priceless Stone. Did you enjoy the story? Now, let's compare your work and see if you get our lesson about the elements of the story. The characters are father, son, woman, man. The setting includes market, museum, stone store. And then the theme of the story is self-worth. Now, I want you to understand that the plot would take you some spaces because you can't do it in a single sentence. It would be like this. The son wanted to know about the value of life. That's for the first sentence. Followed by the second sentence. His father gave him a stone to try selling in different places. And then the boy found out the stone had different value. The father explained the value of life through the stone. So at least you have 4 sentences for the plot because the plot contains a series of events of the story. Now, we will proceed with conflict. What was the problem of the story? The problem was the son did not know the value of his life. I hope you enjoyed our lesson and I hope you got the elements of the story right. Welcome to Day 2. If you are learning from this video, like and subscribe for more. Today, let us have a tongue twister challenge. Recite the tongue twister shown. Repeat it 3 times without a mistake. I have here the first tongue twister. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now, repeat it 3 times without a mistake. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now your turn. Let's continue with this. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Now your turn. have some more. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Now your turn. How about this? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? Lastly, let's see who's the best. Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said this butter is bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought some better butter, better than the bitter butter, and it made her batter better. Did you enjoy our tongue twisters? What did you notice about the tongue twister pieces? What similarities can you pinpoint as regards the vowel and consonant sounds in each tongue twister? Let's now proceed to the key terms that we have to learn this week. We have the first one, alliteration. 2. Hyperbole. 3. Simile. 4. Personification. 5. Metaphor. 6. Assonance. 7. Consonance. And last, onomatopoeia. We are going to match the figures of speech in column A with their corresponding descriptions in column B. Write the capital letter of the correct answer on your notebook. Choices F, G, and H will flash in a little while. Just make sure that you place letters A to E on the right number. Let us continue with the choices F, G, and H. Then we are going to check your answer afterwards. Check your work now. If you did not get the answers right, please listen as we discuss these terms. A figure of speech is when we use words in a special way to make our language more interesting or to create a certain effect. Figures of speech make language more colorful and engaging. It is like adding a special touch to what we say or write to make it more creative and fun, thus creating an impact. We can find figures of speech not just in stories and poems, but also in greeting cards, advertisements, newspaper headlines, and even in the way people talk about sports, music, and other topics they are passionate about. Let's have the first example. A metaphor is a figure of speech that makes a comparison between two unrelated things by stating that one thing is another thing, even though this is not literally true. For example, we say, "It's raining cats and dogs," and time is a thief. Now, if you're going to say cats and dogs and raining, what does it mean? It's raining cats and dogs means it's raining intensely. Time is a thief. When we say time is a thief, you have here time and then thief. What's the connection? Time is a thief means time passes quickly. A simile is a figure of speech that compares two unlike things using like or as. For example, they fight like cats and dogs, and her smile was as bright as the sun. Another is a hyperbole. It's a figure of speech that involves an exaggeration for emphasis, effect, or to make a point. For example, you say, "I've told you a million times, my bag weighs a ton." There's no way you can say something a million times or a bag that weighs 1,000 of kilos, literally, but these expressions are simply trying to picture out how something feels. Alliteration is a literary device in which words that are close together in a sentence or phrase start with the same consonant sound. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So if you notice, You have here the sound P for Peter, P for Piper, P for picked. So you have there the letter P with the sound P repeating together in a sentence. Then you have here Bob brought the box of bricks to the basement. This time you have the sound B. Then you have assonance, a literary device that refers to the repetition of vowel sounds within words that are close together in a sentence or phrase. For example, you say, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. And how now, brown cow? So you have here the sound A for rain in Spain, mainly on the plain. You have the sound A, which is a vowel sound. And how, now, ow. So those are actually sounds that you can find in the middle of the sentence, within the words. Consonance is a literary device that refers to the repetition of consonant sounds within, especially at the end or near the end of the words that are close together in a sentence. So for example, you're going to say stroke of luck, where you can find k at the end of the words stroke and lock. Another example, Lucky Lucy licks lollipops. So you have there k for lucky and licks, and the sound s for licks and lollipops. They are found at the end or near the end of the words. Another is personification, a literary device that gives human-like qualities, emotions, or actions to non-human entities. Example, we have the wind whispered through the trees and the sun smiled down on us. The wind is not a human being, not a human entity, but yeah, maybe it can whisper and the sun can smile, but again, the sun is not a human entity, not a human being, but you are using human-like qualities to describe it. The last term that we have is onomatopoeia, a literary device that refers to words that phonetically imitate, resemble, or suggest the sound that they describe. For example, you say buzz for the bell, meow for the cat, bang for a gun, ding dong for a doorbell. So to sum it up, some fall under the figure of speech category, while others are called literary devices. Figures of speech include metaphor, simile, and hyperbole. Literary devices include alliteration, assonance, consonance, personification, and onomatopoeia. Welcome to day 3. If you want more of our educational content, follow VClass TV on Facebook and TikTok. Today we are going to see how the figures of speech and sound devices are used in a poem. Please read along with me the poem written by Rocky James G. Sarasua, The Familiar Sounds in Our Homes. Let's begin.
The Familiar Sounds in Our Homes by Rocky James G. Sarasua. Before I sleep at night, my mama would shh, shh, shh while asleep. They hear me zzz, zzz, zzz. When I wake up, the white rooster will crow. Tick-a-low, tick-a-low, tick-a-low. Our cows would moo, moo, moo. Our ducks would quack, quack, quack. The minute Mayas will treat, 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 treat. Our pet brownie will bark, uff, uff, uff. These are the sounds that I listen to every morning. For the breakfast, my mama would heat up the kettle for their coffee. The whistling sound signals that the water is boiling hot as the sun. The crunchy cereals I bite munch. The excited egg in the pan sizzles. And a burp, burp, burp means that I'm full. In silence, the sad, shiny silver clock sounds tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Mama's vivacious vacuum cleaner thuds. Woo! The fabulous flower garden has buzzes from the bees. The birds chirp in the distant trees. When the sun sets, my energy resets. It's time to rest like a king. When the moon appears, lively and sweet, I am all ears. For the stories my mama will tell, for me to feel very well. And before I sleep at night, my mama would shh, shh, shh. While asleep, they hear me zzz, zzz, zzz.
Now, here are some questions that I want you to answer. Do this on your notebook. 1. As described in the poem, what sounds does the poet hear every morning? 2. How does the poet describe the sounds of the rooster and the farm animals in the poem? 3. What does the whistling sound in the poem signify? 4. Describe the breakfast scene mentioned in the poem. What sounds are associated with breakfast? 5. What does the poet mean by the sad shiny silver clock sounds tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock? Let's continue with number 6. How is the vacuum cleaner described in the poem? What sound does it make? 7. What sounds can be heard in the fabulous flower garden according to the poem? 8. What natural sounds are mentioned in the last stanza of the poem? 9. How does the poet describe the transition from day to night in the poem? 10. What feelings or emotions does the poet experience when listening to the stories told by Mama at night? Welcome to day 4. If you are interested in the PowerPoint presentation used in this video lesson, join our growing channel now. Today, let us have another poem from Joy Kilmer entitled Trees. Please read with me.
Trees by Joy Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree.
Let us see if you have understood the poem. Answer the following questions on your notebook. Continue with these questions. Now, we are almost done. As a Matatag student, you are going to continue with your journal. Answer the questions focusing on the topic we have this week. Topic that I already know, topic that I just learned, and topic that I still want to learn more. Welcome to day 5. Today, we are going to have our assessment day. For today's assessment, you are going to write true if the statement gives a correct idea and false if otherwise. Prepare your paper to answer 15 questions. It's time for our quiz. Number 1. Figures of speech are important for the beauty of literature. 2. The tongue twister, she sells seashells by the seashore, is an example of alliteration. 3. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can is an example of hyperbole. 4. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers is an example of consonance. 5. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair is an example of personification. Right, true or false? Let's continue with number 6. The tongue twister, Betty Butter bought some butter is an example of simile. 7. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sounds in neighboring words or syllables. 8. Hyperbole involves extreme exaggeration for emphasis or effect. 9. Simile directly refers to one thing by mentioning another to suggest they are alike. 10. Personification attributes human characteristics to non-human things or abstract concepts. Right, true, or false? Down to the last part, number 11. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in neighboring words or syllables. 12. Consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds, especially at the end of a word. 13. Onomatopoeia involves the use of words that imitate the sounds they represent. 14. Metaphor compares two different things using the words like or as. 15. The tongue twister, Betty Butter bought some butter, exemplifies onomatopoeia. Let's check your work. Unfortunately, I only share the answer key to the members of our growing channel. So click the join button now and proceed to the membership process if you want to. Exclusive perks await our solid members. Find us on Facebook and TikTok too. Once again, this has been Teacher Jackie saying discover, learn, have fun only at V-Class TV. Until next time, bye!